Ooh. Damn. Okay. I need to pause this for a second because these are some of the bassiest wireless earbuds I have ever used. These are the Soundcore Liberty 2 Pro wireless earbuds, and in this video we're going to talk about the pros and the cons of these semi-affordable, semi-audiophile-ish earbuds, so let's get into it. The Liberty 2 Pro wireless earbuds from Soundcore, which is a company made by Anker. They have been cranking out some of the best speakers and wireless earbuds, iPhone cables, Android cables, and in my opinion, headphones is one of the areas in which Anker/Soundcore has really excelled recently, and these headphones are no exception. So here is the box, and you can see that they are really stressing that these have in-ear studio performance, or at least that's what they say. And there's also these little terms like Astria coaxial acoustic architecture. I'm not sure exactly what that means. 10 Grammy winning audio producers recommend 5 stars. And then on the back it talks about their app, and it allows you to change the EQ of these, which is really amazing. Up to 32 hours with charging case of battery life and up to 8-hour playtime. There's also Hear ID personalized sound. There's wireless charging with the case, which is really cool. And then there's crystal clear calls. It has balanced drivers, a dynamic driver, and a concentric design, harmonized bass and treble for natural sound. We will see about that. There are a bunch of extra ear tips and some of these winged little nub things so that they stick in your ear better. So here is the case that the earbuds come in. I really like that they have this almost rubberized matte finish. I think this is a really sleek design. We see some LEDs in here to indicate how much charge you have left. One of my favorite things about this case is it doesn't open up vertically like a lot of other headphones do. This case will actually slide forward and back, and I really like that. It's so weirdly pleasant to do this. Like, I could just sit there and fidget probably for hours. I think it's a pretty sleek design for this little case. It's not the smallest case in the world, but it does fit basically in your pocket, and I do like that the matte finish kind of hides a bunch of scratching and stuff. The charging port in the back is USB-C, and it does come with a small charging cable. And then there's also this little pairing button, so if you want to switch devices, you open up the case, and then you hold down this button right here for a few seconds. And then there's LED indicators on the actual earbuds, and you'll see one of them actually start to flicker. That means it's in pairing mode, and then you can actually change the device in your phone or iPad settings. It would be nice if there were like a quick switch feature or something where you could just select these on the other device that you're trying to pair them to, instead of having to press this button every time you want to pair them to a different device. The earbuds in themselves have magnets inside, so they just kind of go in there and then sit in the case. So these are the actual earbuds. I actually think that these are gigantic, and they're probably the biggest earbuds I have used. They definitely stick out of my ear more than I would like, so they're not the most aesthetically pleasing once they're in your ear, but you know, if you don't really care about that, like, who cares what you look like if the sound quality and the features are really awesome, right? All right, so now I'm just gonna put the headphones in. You can see just how much they stick out. So from the side, they actually don't look too bad, right? You know, they're just like kind of standard flat earbuds. They have the kind of minimal branding on there, which I enjoy. But to me, this sticks out a little too much for comfort. They almost look like those like older Bluetooth headsets that you see, like, you know, dads at the mall, and that dad's like having an important conversation with their earbuds. So you can also see this little gold spiral design in there. I really like that. And there's also a little L and an R, so you know which one's the left and the right. These buttons right here are multi-function buttons, so you can actually customize these in the app. These can play pause, they can invoke Siri, they can change the volume. There's no haptic touch on these, so you do have to use these tiny buttons if you do want to enable certain features. Like I said, they come with a bunch of different ear tips. I think these are actually the default ones, and then you can optionally add these little wing tips so that they fit more comfortably in your ear. So they don't really budge that much, you know, like when I'm shaking my head, they actually stay in place, which is really impressive for earbuds that don't have to use ear hooks. So if you're working out or running or something, they will probably stay in your ear. But this is an important test that I will call the smile test. For some reason, when I smile with earbuds in, a lot of times they'll actually pop out of my ear and I have to keep adjusting them. So let's do the smile test right now. So I'm gonna smile really big. Hope I don't have anything in my teeth. Exaggerated facial expressions. Okay, I did the smile test and they're still in my ear. The left one kind of budged a little bit, but nothing kind of dramatic where I'm like, oh damn, I have to like, push the back of my ear to get that nice full sound. I think they actually fit really nicely. So another thing I love about these earbuds is the latency on these, the lag between voices in a video, for example, and what you hear in the headphones. It's really barely noticeable, and these, because they have aptX low latency chips inside of them, these seem to have a pretty good Bluetooth range as well, because they do have Bluetooth 5.0. So I've, had my phone in the middle of my house and I can walk around into my backyard and walk back, and there are like a couple cutouts here and there, but the connection seems really stable overall. So now let's do a test of the microphones inside of the actual earbuds. That's what you're hearing right now. What do you think about the quality of this? It's supposed to have crystal clear calls, and I have used these for phone calls, and I've been told that my voice sounds nice and clear. I've even used these for Zoom calls and stuff, and nobody has said, hey, you're cutting out, the audio is all laggy or anything weird. But I have been told in a phone call that my voice sounds pretty natural, and it doesn't sound like I'm using a headset. It sounds like I'm just talking into the mic, so that's a good thing. So one of the coolest parts about these headphones is the companion app, which is just called Soundcore. This is what the app looks like when you connect your headphones. I really like the design. It's pretty minimal and pretty aesthetically pleasing. These little green indicators around L and R show you the battery life for each one. And the battery life, I can tell you, has been superb in these earbuds. It says 8 hours. I can't really say that these will actually last 8 hours. Like, it seems more like about 6.5, 7.5 hours in my usage. The main feature that I love about this app is the equalizer. And it gives you this option over here. They call it Hear ID, and basically it does these like certain tests to kind of tune what frequencies you favor in your ear, what frequencies you don't favor. So you can turn that on or off. I did this, I went through every step, and I honestly didn't really like the way that these headphones changed the equalizer for me and kind of boosted these weird mid frequencies. However, it does give you the option to do your own EQ. So here's a custom EQ that's just called Ben, and you can actually change all of these little bands within this equalizer, which I really, really like. I did a bunch of kind of trials of different genres and stuff, and this is kind of the weird arc that I ended up with. And you can actually turn the equalizer completely off if you want by just pressing this default. So I guess that leads us into sound quality, which is probably what most of y'all are waiting for me to talk about. The default sound signature, I think, is actually really, really good. There's definitely some crisp highs, and the bass is like almost obscene in these, especially once you tune them up in the graphic equalizer, like if you have a custom setting, which I did. I love bass, okay? If y'all know me, you know I love some bass. So I turned the bass, the sub bass 100 hertz area, I turned it like almost all the way up, and it is thumping. It has actually made me laugh out loud because of the bass levels that drop out of these headphones. But out of the box, I felt like the headphones had way too crispy of like these super high end frequencies. So I ended up actually tuning the super high frequencies down to about -2. And even there, they can be a little too crispy, a little too aggressive in the highs for my personal taste. Cymbals and that kind of stuff were a little too dramatic for me and actually hurt a little bit. I don't want to damage my ears, so I turned down those trebles and beefed up the bass, and to me, this sound profile actually sounds really decent, and I really like this. I don't know, I like the crisp sound overall, and these are definitely not meant to be subtle, I'll tell you that much. And I think these headphones sound wonderful, however, I don't think they're necessarily audiophile quality. But, retail $150, they sound about $150, I would say. They don't sound as good as like higher end headphones, such as like the Sony WF-1000 XM3s. But they definitely sound crispy and crunchy and delicious in especially the bass. So there's all that branding on the box that says, Grammy award winning, people love these headphones and that kind of stuff. Here's where that comes in. In this section right here in the equalizer, you'll get to a list of a bunch of different Grammy winning producers. There's EQs that have already been designed, so you can kind of go through all of these, And in my experience, I actually didn't really like most of these. Like the Cole MGN one was the most decent one in my opinion. It definitely beefed up a lot of the bass and the mids, which I liked, so it had a very like thick and full sound. And the Buck Snow one was also kind of decent, but it sounded a little bit hollow to me. But most of the rest of them were way too crispy in the high end for me, or they just sounded too kind of muted or almost too thumpy without the trebles, that I didn't really like almost any of those. Honestly, I kind of prefer my own equalizers so I can do my own damage to my own ears if I want to. So also within app, there's a section here called controller, and this is where you can set custom commands for the little multifunction buttons that I showed you. So for example, if you wanted to change like the double tap of the left earbud, you can change that to next or a voice assistant or volume up. I do wish there were more functions listed here, you know, maybe like a triple tap for each one, which would enable something else. This seems a little bit half-baked, but I do like the simplicity of it. So there you go. That is my overview of the Soundcore Liberty 2 Pro wireless earbuds. These are some really amazing earbuds, and I am very, very satisfied with them overall. You know, there are some issues, but there's no such thing as the perfect pair of headphones, but these come super close, and I'm really excited about these. Thank you so much to Soundcore/Anker for sending me these. If you have any comments or thoughts about these headphones, hit me up in the comments section. I'd love to see you down there. Check out my music on Spotify, Apple Music, etc. Search for Ben Aqua. Add me on TikTok and Instagram. Search for Ben Aqua as well, because that's me, obviously. I hope you enjoyed this video. Hope it was useful for you. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.